The last birthday. The email arrived at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Maya was still at her desk. The blue light from her laptop casting shadows across the small studio apartment she'd lived in for 3 years. Not because she couldn't afford better. She could. She made decent money as a senior data analyst. But better felt wasteful when there were always other people who needed things more. The subject line read, "Quick favor?" Her mother never wrote "quick favor" unless it cost at least $300. Maya clicked it open, her finger hovering over the trackpad with the muscle memory of someone who'd opened 1,000 versions of this same message. "Hi, sweetie. I know you're probably busy with work. You always are, but I wanted to give you a heads up that we're doing something special for Electra's 26th birthday next weekend. Nothing huge, just family and a few of her friends. Dad's grilling, and I'm making her favorite lemon cake. Anyway, could you Venmo me $400? We want to get her that yoga retreat package she's been eyeing, and we're just a little short. You know how it is. Love you, Mom." Maya read it twice. Then she opened her calendar. Next weekend was October 14th. Her birthday was October 12th. 2 days before Electra's party, Maya would turn 29. Alone, probably. Like she had turned 28 and 27 and most of the birthdays before that, except for the ones where she'd been invited to celebrate someone else. She sat there in the dark, the cursor blinking in the reply box. The apartment was silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of someone's television through the wall. She'd chosen this place specifically because it was quiet, because after days of answering everyone else's needs at work, solving problems, explaining data, justifying decisions, she needed somewhere that demanded nothing from her. But even here, in the space she paid for with money she earned, the demands found her. Maya didn't cry. She hadn't cried about her family in years. Crying was for people who still believed things might change. She'd moved past that around the time she was 23, when her parents forgot her college graduation because Electra had a really bad breakup and needed them to fly out to comfort her for the weekend. Instead of crying, Maya did what she always did. She opened a spreadsheet. She titled it, "Financial Support, Electra, 2019 present." Then she began to type. The first entry was from March 2019. First/last month's rent for new apartment, $2,400. Electra had decided to move to Portland after quitting her receptionist job. She'd said she needed a fresh start and wanted to try her hand at becoming a life coach. Maya had been skeptical. Electra had never finished anything. Not volleyball camp, not community college, not the 6 different career paths she'd cycled through since high school. But their mother had called crying. "She's really struggling, Maya, and you know how sensitive she is. If we don't help her, she might end up somewhere unsafe." So Maya had sent the money. Security deposit covered because landlord had concerns, $1,200. Emergency grocery money, 3 times $600. Contribution to yoga teacher certification, $1,500. Bed frame after hers mysteriously broke, $340. Emergency dental work, $890. Half the cost of a really important networking retreat, $750. Birthday presents, 5 years, at average $300, $1,500. Christmas presents, 5 years, at average $400, $2,000. The list went on and on. Maya had always told herself she was just helping temporarily, just until Electra got on her feet, just until things stabilized, just until the next thing. But the next thing always came. By the time Maya reached the end of the spreadsheet, the total glowed in the bottom right corner like an accusation. $34,670. $34,670. Enough for a down payment on a small house. Enough for a year of financial freedom. Enough for the kind of life where she could have said no to weekend shifts and worked fewer hours, and maybe, just maybe, had the energy to have a life outside of work. Maya stared at the number until her vision blurred. Then she closed the laptop. She walked to the window and looked out at the city, at the lights in other apartments where other people were living other lives. Lives where maybe they weren't the designated savior of their family, where maybe their birthdays mattered. And something inside her, something that had been wound tight for years, finally snapped. Not in rage, in clarity. Maya woke up on October 12th to 0 messages. She lay in bed for a long time, staring at her phone's lock screen, a generic mountain landscape she'd never bothered to change, and waited. Sometimes they were just late. Sometimes they remembered halfway through the day and sent a flurry of apologetic texts with cake emojis. By noon, nothing. She got up, made coffee, and sat at her small kitchen table with her laptop. She opened her email. There was the usual work stuff, meeting requests, project updates, someone asking if she could jump on a quick call about data she'd already sent them twice. There was a promotional email from a shoe store, a newsletter she'd never signed up for. Nothing from her parents, nothing from Electra, nothing from her Aunt Christine, who usually at least sent a Facebook message with a generic "Happy birthday, sweetie," and a gif of balloons. Maya sipped her coffee and opened the spreadsheet again. $34,670. She should have felt angry. She wanted to feel angry. Anger was clean. Anger was fuel. But what she felt was something worse. She felt foolish. She felt like the punchline to a joke everyone else had been in on for years. How many times had she canceled plans because Electra needed something? How many times had she worked extra hours to cover her own bills and someone else's? How many times had she said, "It's fine," when it wasn't fine, when it was the opposite of fine, when it was slowly eroding the architecture of her life? She pulled up a blank document and began to write. Not for them, for herself. I am 29 years old today. No one remembered. This is not the first time. I have spent the last 5 years, longer really, but I only have records for 5, financially supporting my younger sister while she finds herself. I have done this because I was told it was what good sisters do, what good daughters do, what family does. But I need to ask myself, what has family done for me? Maya's fingers paused over the keyboard. It was such a simple question, a question a therapist would ask, a question she'd avoided asking because she already knew the answer, and the answer was unbearable. Nothing. That's not quite true. They've asked, they've needed, they've expected, they've assumed. But they have not shown up. She saved the document as "The Last Birthday" and closed it. Then she opened a new one. The first letter took her 4 hours to write. She drafted it 9 times, each version oscillating between rage and restraint, between wanting to list every grievance and wanting to simply state the facts without emotion clouding the message. Finally, she settled on something that felt true. To Mom and Dad. This letter isn't written in anger, though I would have every right to that. It's written in clarity, which I think is more frightening for all of us. Today is my 29th birthday. You didn't remember. This is not new. What is new is that I'm no longer willing to pretend it doesn't matter. I'm no longer willing to be the person who everyone forgets about because I'm fine and independent and doesn't need anything. Because here's the truth, I've needed a lot. I've just learned not to ask. I've attached a spreadsheet detailing every financial contribution I've made to Electra over the past 5 years. The total is $34,670. That doesn't include emotional labor, which can't be quantified. It doesn't include the birthdays I've missed because Electra needed something. The promotions I've worked myself sick for because I couldn't afford to help her otherwise. The life I've deferred because I believed that being a good daughter and sister meant making myself smaller so others could expand. I'm done making myself smaller. Effective immediately, I will no longer be providing financial support to Electra. She is 26 years old, an adult fully capable of managing her own life. If she needs help, you are welcome to provide it, but it will not come from me. I will also no longer be available for emergency requests, last-minute favors, or situations where I'm expected to solve problems I didn't create. This is not punishment. This is preservation. I love you both, but I can't keep being the person who gives everything and receives nothing. Not even a birthday text. Maya. She read it 7 times. Then she attached the spreadsheet, took a screenshot of her empty inbox from that morning, and hit send. Her heart hammered in her chest. Her hands were shaking. She'd never done anything like this before. Never set a boundary that couldn't be negotiated. Never said no without offering an alternative. Never prioritized herself without guilt eating her alive from the inside. But as she watched the email disappear into the void, she felt something unexpected. Relief. Not happiness, not vindication, just relief. The second letter was easier. Electra. I'm writing this separately because I think you deserve to know directly rather than hearing it through mom and dad. I won't be sending money anymore. I know that sounds harsh. I know you'll probably be confused or hurt or angry, but I need you to understand something. The help I've given you over the years wasn't infinite. It had a cost. And that cost was my own financial security, my own peace of mind, and my own sense of self-worth. You are not a child. You are 26 years old. You are capable, intelligent, and resourceful when you need to be. The problem is that you've never needed to be, because I've always been there to catch you. I'm stepping back now, not because I don't love you, but because I do, and because I love myself too, which is something I've forgotten how to do. I hope you find your footing. I hope you build a life you're proud of. But I can't build it for you. Maya. She sent it before she could second-guess herself. Then she opened the third letter, the hardest one. To myself. You were always enough. You didn't need to earn love by being useful. You didn't need to prove your worth by being convenient. You didn't need to shrink yourself to make room for people who never made room for you. You were enough when you were 7 and scored the winning goal in soccer, and no one came to watch. She silenced her phone and set it face down. Then the texts started pouring in, first from her mother, then her father, then, predictably, Electra. Mom. Maya, what is this email? Call me right now. This is ridiculous. Dad. Your mother is very upset. I think we need to have a calm conversation about this. Mom. I can't believe you would do this on your birthday of all days. This is so hurtful. Electra. Wow. Really? You're really doing this right now? I knew you were cold, but this is next level. Mom. Please call me. We can work this out. Electra. I've been struggling, and you just don't care. I can't believe I have a sister who would abandon me like this. Dad. Maya, this isn't like you. Are you okay? Is something going on at work? Maya read them all. She felt the old familiar pull, the urge to apologize, to explain, to smooth things over and make everyone comfortable again, even if it meant making herself uncomfortable. The urge to be the peacemaker, the problem solver, the one who fixed things. But she'd spent 29 years fixing things, and she was tired. She typed out a single response and sent it to the family group chat. I said what I needed to say. I'm not discussing it further. I need space. Then she muted the conversation. She finished her wine, ordered takeout from her favorite Thai place, and watched a movie she'd been meaning to see for months, something light and funny and completely unserious. And when she went to bed that night, she slept better than she had in years. The next morning, Maya woke up to 47 unread messages. She didn't open them. She made coffee, ate breakfast, and went to work like it was any other day. At her desk, she focused on a data visualization project she'd been putting off, losing herself in the clean logic of spreadsheets and formulas, problems that had solutions, questions that had answers. Around noon, her personal phone rang. You are not responsible for other people's inability to function. You never were. And the fact that you've been carrying that weight for this long is not a testament to your strength. It's a testament to their manipulation. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. It doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like family. Yeah, well, sometimes family is just manipulation with a guilt complex. Jess's voice softened. Look, I'm not saying they're evil. I'm saying they're comfortable. And you've made them comfortable by being uncomfortable. Now you're choosing yourself. And they hate it because it means they have to deal with their own shit. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm being selfish? Then be selfish. Be the most selfish person on the planet. Take up space. Want things. Expect people to show up for you. Because from where I'm sitting, you've been selfless for 29 years, and all it got you was forgotten. Maya wiped her eyes. I miss you. I miss you too. And you know what? I'm flying out next weekend. We're celebrating your birthday a week late, and we're doing it right. Fancy dinner, expensive wine, the works. Jess, you don't have to. Shut up. I'm doing it. Book a reservation somewhere nice and send me the bill. Consider it back payment for all the times you've been there for everyone else. After they hung up, Maya sat in the dark for a long time. Then she opened her laptop and booked a reservation at the nicest restaurant in the city. For two. The weekend came. Maya woke up Saturday morning to another flood of messages. Her mother begging her to just talk. Electra alternating between fury and victimhood. Her father trying to play mediator with messages like, I think everyone just needs to cool down and we can discuss this like adults. She deleted them all without reading past the first line. Then she got dressed, put on the one truly nice dress she owned, a deep emerald thing she'd bought 2 years ago and never worn because there was never an occasion, and took an Uber to the restaurant. Jess was already there, waiting at the bar with 2 glasses of champagne. She looked exactly the same. Blonde hair in a messy bun, bright red lipstick, eyes sharp with intelligence and mischief. When she saw Maya, she broke into a grin. There she is, the woman of the hour. They hugged, and Maya felt something loosen in her chest, something that had been clenched tight for so long she'd forgotten it was there. You look amazing, genuinely. I don't know what you're doing differently, but keep doing it. I stopped setting myself on fire to keep other people warm. Jess raised her glass. Then here's to arson. They clinked glasses and drank. Dinner was perfect. Not because the food was extraordinary, though it was, but because for 2 hours, Maya got to be the center of attention. Jess asked about her life, her work, her hobbies, the books she was reading, the shows she was watching. She asked follow-up questions. She remembered details from stories Maya told. Not her parents this time. Aunt Christine. Maya stared at the name on the screen. Christine had always been the cool aunt, the one who sent birthday money and cards, who asked about her life without offering unsolicited advice, who seemed to actually see her as a person rather than a supporting character in the family drama. She answered, Hi, Aunt Christine. Maya? Christine's voice was careful, measured. I heard there's been some tension. You could call it that. A pause. Your mother called me crying at 7 this morning. I'm sure she did. She says you've cut Electra off financially and sent them some kind of manifesto. It wasn't a manifesto, it was a boundary. Another pause, longer this time. Can I be honest with you? Christine asked. Please. It's about damn time. Maya nearly dropped her coffee. What? Christine sighed. Maya, I've watched your parents do this to you for years. You're the responsible one, so you get saddled with all the responsibility. Electra's the sensitive one, so she gets coddled and protected and bailed out of every consequence. And you get taken for granted. Maya felt something crack in her chest. I tried to say something once. About 5 years ago, when they missed your graduation, your mother told me I didn't understand Electra's emotional needs. You didn't have emotional needs too? I didn't think anyone noticed. Of course I noticed, but it wasn't my place to fight your battles. That had to be you. And honestly, I've been waiting for you to do this. Maya closed her eyes. They're saying I'm cruel, that I'm abandoning Electra when she needs me. Electra doesn't need you, Maya. She's used to you. There's a difference. Need implies desperation, that someone would suffer real harm without help. But Electra's not going to suffer. She's going to finally have to grow up. And your parents are upset because now they'll have to be the ones to help her, or watch her figure it out on her own. Maya's voice cracked. I don't want to be the villain. You're not the villain. You're the person who finally stopped volunteering to be the victim. That night, Maya did something she hadn't done in years. She called her college roommate, Jess. They drifted after graduation, not from any falling out, just from the natural entropy of life. Jess had moved to Denver for a marketing job. Maya had stayed in Seattle for work. They'd promised to visit, to stay close, to not let distance matter. But then, distance had mattered, because Maya had always been too busy covering someone else's crisis to make the 3-hour flight. Jess answered on the second ring. Holy shit, Maya Chen, I thought you died. Maya laughed despite herself. Not dead, just dormant. Well, welcome back to the land of the living. What's going on? And Maya told her. All of it. The forgotten birthdays, the endless financial support, the party for Electra scheduled 2 days after her own birthday that no one remembered. The letters, the boundary, the fallout. When she finished, there was silence on the other end. Then, Maya, I need you to hear this, okay? Okay? You are not responsible for other people's inability to function. You never were. And the fact that you've been carrying that weight for this long is not a testament to your strength. It's a testament to their manipulation. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. It doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like family. Yeah, well, sometimes family is just manipulation with a guilt complex. Jess's voice softened. Look, I'm not saying they're evil. I'm saying they're comfortable. And you've made them comfortable by being uncomfortable. Now you're choosing yourself. And they hate it because it means they have to deal with their own shit. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm being selfish? Then be selfish. Be the most selfish person on the planet. Take up space. Want things. Expect people to show up for you. Because from where I'm sitting, you've been selfless for 29 years, and all it got you was forgotten. Maya wiped her eyes. I miss you. I miss you too. And you know what? I'm flying out next weekend. We're celebrating your birthday a week late, and we're doing it right. Fancy dinner, expensive wine, the works. Jess, you don't have to. Shut up. I'm doing it. Book a reservation somewhere nice and send me the bill. Consider it back payment for all the times you've been there for everyone else. After they hung up, Maya sat in the dark for a long time. Then she opened her laptop and booked a reservation at the nicest restaurant in the city. For 2. The weekend came. Maya woke up Saturday morning to another flood of messages. Her mother begging her to just talk. Electra alternating between fury and victimhood. Her father trying to play mediator with messages like, I think everyone just needs to cool down and we can discuss this like adults. She deleted them all without reading past the first line. Then she got dressed, put on the one truly nice dress she owned, a deep emerald thing she'd bought 2 years ago and never worn because there was never an occasion, and took an Uber to the restaurant. Jess was already there, waiting at the bar with 2 glasses of champagne. She looked exactly the same. Blonde hair in a messy bun, bright red lipstick, eyes sharp with intelligence and mischief. When she saw Maya, she broke into a grin. There she is, the woman of the hour. They hugged, and Maya felt something loosen in her chest, something that had been clenched tight for so long she'd forgotten it was there. You look amazing, genuinely. I don't know what you're doing differently, but keep doing it. I stopped setting myself on fire to keep other people warm. Jess raised her glass. Then here's to arson. They clinked glasses and drank. Dinner was perfect. Not because the food was extraordinary, though it was,
but because for 2 hours, Maya got to be the center of attention. Just asked about her life, her work, her hobbies, the books she was reading, the shows she was watching. She asked follow-up questions. She remembered details from stories Maya told.
She made Maya feel like she mattered. And when the waiter brought out a small chocolate cake with a single candle, singing a cheerful, off-key rendition of Happy Birthday, Maya didn't feel embarrassed or awkward. She felt seen. "Make a wish," Jess said. Maya closed her eyes. She didn't wish for her family to apologize. She didn't wish for Electra to suddenly become self-sufficient. She didn't wish for everything to go back to normal. She wished for the courage to keep choosing herself. Then she blew out the candle. Monday morning, Maya woke up to an email from her father. The subject line, "Can we talk?" She almost deleted it, but something stopped her. Not hope exactly, but curiosity. Her father had always been the quieter one, the mediator, the one who tried to smooth things over without actually addressing anything. She opened it. "Maya, I'm not good at this, at talking about feelings or family dynamics or whatever you want to call it. Your mother is better with words, but she's too upset to write this, so it's on me. I want to start by saying I'm sorry we forgot your birthday. There's no excuse for that. You're right that it's happened before, and I'm sorry for that too. I've been thinking a lot about your email and the spreadsheet you sent. $34,000 is a lot. I didn't realize it had been that much. Your mother and I have helped Electra too, obviously, but I don't think we've kept track the way you have. I think the issue is that Electra asks for help and you don't. So we assume you're okay. We assume you don't need anything. And I'm starting to realize that maybe that's not fair. That just because you're capable doesn't mean you don't want to be cared for. I'm not going to pretend I understand everything you're feeling, but I'm trying. I don't want to lose my daughter over this. Can we talk? Not to convince you to change your mind, just to talk. Dad." Maya read it 3 times. It wasn't perfect. It didn't undo years of being overlooked. It didn't erase the sting of being forgotten. But it was something. She typed out a response. "Dad, I appreciate you reaching out. I need you to understand that this isn't about the money. Not really. It's about what the money represents. Every time I sent money to Electra, I was saying, my needs matter less than hers. Every time you asked for help and I said yes, I was saying, I'm only valuable when I'm useful. I'm not angry. I'm just done being invisible. I'm willing to talk, but I need you to understand that things can't go back to how they were. I'm not going to be the person who solves everyone's problems anymore. I'm not going to be the one who sacrifices so others can be comfortable. If you can accept that, then yes, we can talk. Maya." She sent it before she could second-guess herself. Then she closed her laptop and went to work. The conversation happened 2 weeks later, over coffee at a neutral location, a quiet cafe halfway between her apartment and her parents' house. Maya arrived first. She ordered a latte, sat at a corner table, and tried to calm the nervous energy thrumming through her body. When her father walked in, he looked older than she remembered, more tired. His hair had gone grayer at the temples, and there were new lines around his eyes. He sat down across from her, awkward and uncertain. "Hi, Maya." "Hi, Dad." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then her father sighed. "Your mother wanted to come, but I told her this needed to be just us. She's processing things in her own way, which means she's mad at me. She's hurt. But yeah, also mad." He looked down at his coffee. "She doesn't understand why you couldn't just talk to us instead of sending that email. I tried talking for years. No one listened." He winced. "That's fair." Another silence. "I need you to understand something, Dad. This wasn't a decision I made lightly. I didn't wake up one day and decide to blow up the family. I've been drowning for years, and every time I reached out, you handed me another weight.
We didn't mean to. I know you didn't mean to, but that doesn't change the fact that it happened. Her father rubbed his face. Electra called me crying last week. She said she doesn't know how she's going to make rent. Maya felt the old pull, the instinct to fix it, to offer a solution, to save the day. She pushed it down. Electra is 26 years old. She'll figure it out. She's struggling, Maya. Then help her. You and Mom. But it's not my job anymore. She's your sister. And I'm your daughter. Maya's voice cracked. When do I get to be cared for the way you care for her? When do I get to have a crisis and you drop everything to help me? When do I get to be celebrated just for existing instead of having to earn it? Her father looked stricken. I didn't realize. That's the problem, Dad. You didn't realize, because I made it so easy for you not to notice. He was quiet for a long time. Then, quietly, what do you need from us? Maya hadn't expected that question. She thought about it carefully. I need you to see me. Not as the responsible one, not as the problem solver, not as the backup plan. Just as your daughter. I need you to remember my birthday. I need you to ask how I'm doing and actually listen to the answer. I need you to stop assuming I'm fine just because I don't fall apart. I can do that. Can you? Because it's going to mean letting Electra struggle. It's going to mean watching her fail and not calling me to fix it. It's going to mean treating us like equals, instead of like one of us is more fragile than the other. Her father looked at her, really looked at her, maybe for the first time in years. You're right, he said. We did this. We made Electra dependent and made you invisible. And I'm sorry, Maya. I'm really, genuinely sorry. It wasn't everything, but it was a start. Electra didn't speak to Maya for 3 months. Maya didn't chase her. She didn't send apology texts or try to explain herself or beg for forgiveness. She let the silence sit, heavy and uncomfortable, and focused on building a life that wasn't defined by other people's needs. She reconnected with Jess. They started having weekly video calls, and Jess flew out once a month to visit. She took a pottery class, something she'd always wanted to try but never had time for. She said no to overtime unless she genuinely wanted to work it. She bought new furniture for her apartment, not because the old stuff was broken, but because she wanted something nicer. She started therapy, and slowly, carefully, she started to feel like a person instead of a function. The call from Electra came on a Tuesday in January. Maya was in the middle of making dinner when her phone buzzed. Electra. She stared at it for a long moment. Then she answered. Hi. Hi. Electra's voice was small, uncertain. Can we talk? We're talking now. In person. I'll come to you. Maya hesitated. Okay. 2 days later, Electra showed up at her door. She looked different. Thinner, maybe, or just more tired. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she wasn't wearing makeup. Hi, Electra said. Hi. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, the space between them charged with everything unsaid. I got a job, Electra said finally. It's not much, just admin work at a yoga studio, but it's something. That's good. I'm paying my own rent now, and I signed up for a budgeting class because I realized I have no idea how money works. Maya didn't say anything. Electra continued. I was really angry at you. Really angry. I thought you were being cruel and heartless and punishing me for something. And now? Now I think... Electra's voice cracked. I think you were the only person who ever believed I could take care of myself. Maya felt something shift in her chest. Everyone else treated me like I was fragile. I'd break if things got hard. But you treated me like an adult. And I hated it at first because it meant I had to actually be one. Electra. No, let me finish. Electra wiped her eyes. I was so used to being rescued that I forgot how to rescue myself. And I'm not saying it's been easy. I'm not saying I'm suddenly this super independent person, but I'm trying. And I couldn't have done that if you kept catching me. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. I didn't want to hurt you.
I know. And I'm sorry I made you feel like you had to choose between helping me and helping yourself. That wasn't fair. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Electra said quietly, I'm sorry I wasn't there for your birthday. Which one? Any of them. Maya looked at her sister, really looked at her, and saw something she hadn't seen in years. Someone trying. Thank you, Maya said. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was something. That spring, on Maya's 30th birthday, she woke up to 17 messages. Jess had sent a string of emojis and a promise to call later. Aunt Christine had sent a card in the mail, actual, physical mail, with a gift card to Maya's favorite bookstore. Her father had sent a text, Happy birthday, Maya. I'm proud of you. Her mother had sent a tentative, Thinking of you today. Call if you want to talk. And Electra had sent a photo of a small, slightly lopsided cake with candles that read 30. Made this myself, the text said. It's probably terrible, but I wanted you to have something. Maya stared at her phone for a long time. Then she got up, made coffee, and looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. The note she'd written herself months ago was still taped there, the edges curling slightly. You were always enough. She read it again. And for the first time in her life, she believed it. That afternoon, Maya did something she'd never done before. She threw herself a party. Not a big one. Just Jess, Aunt Christine, a few friends from work, and one neighbor she'd gotten close to over the past few months. She made a playlist of her favorite songs. She ordered too much food. She bought a ridiculously expensive cake from the bakery she'd always walked past but never entered because it was too much for just one person. And when everyone arrived, when they sang to her and toasted to her and made her blow out 30 candles, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in years. Joy. Not because the party was perfect, not because everyone she wanted there was there, but because she had decided, finally, irrevocably, that she was worth celebrating. And that was enough. The final letter Maya wrote wasn't to her family. It was to herself a year later, on her 31st birthday. She wrote it in hand in careful script and tucked it into a drawer for safekeeping. Dear Maya, a year ago, you made the hardest decision of your life. You chose yourself. And I know it didn't feel like victory. It felt like loss, like destruction, like burning down the only life you knew. But here's what you built from the ashes. You built friendships that feed you instead of drain you. You built a life where your birthday matters. You built boundaries that protect your peace instead of sacrificing it. You built a version of yourself that doesn't need to be useful to be loved. And you did it without destroying anyone. You didn't scream or rage or burn bridges. You just stopped being the bridge. You learned that true revenge isn't destruction. It's boundaries. True power isn't control. It's choice. True love isn't sacrifice. It's presence. And you, Maya, are finally present in your own life. Happy birthday. From yourself. She folded the letter carefully and placed it on the shelf next to the photo from her 30th birthday party, the one where she's laughing, surrounded by people who showed up, not because they needed something, but because she was worth showing up for. And as Maya looked at that photo, at the woman she was becoming, she realized something. She'd spent 29 years being the foundation everyone else built their lives on. Now, finally, she was building her own, and it was beautiful.